Winter solstice is the longest night of the year. We can't escape the darkness. And so during this time of year, if you're in the northern hemisphere, and if you're not, that's okay, this message could still be for you. But during this time of year, we are asked to go within. We are asked to explore around in the dark, to find what has been hidden, to find what's in the shadow realms, to use it to our benefit, to create with the energy of the void in the darkness. And we have this card come through as the theme of the reading, which is so fitting, the void. This card talks about being in an embryonic state, being in the dark womb, the dark matrix in which all creation takes place. And so you could be feeling like you're in darkness right now, or fears could be coming up, anxieties, or perhaps for some of you, it's just a lot of creativity, like a feminine creativity. Everything feels like a potential, but nothing has yet fully come into form. It's an exciting time that asks us to be brave and asks us to be curious about what happens to us during this time, what comes up, what comes through. Oftentimes we are connected to the other dimensions and the other realms more seamlessly. The darkness allows us to slip into a state of mind in which our walls and preconceptions of what reality should be begin to fade away, and we have to pay attention to our other senses beyond just our sight in order to navigate our intuition. So you could find that you are feeling more intuitive these days, or that you're lucid dreaming, or there's just funny things happening around you. And this is all a sign and a confirmation that you are attuned with the current energies of the dark. And the dark is not bad. It is far from bad. It is beautiful. It is the place of creation. So we have number 8 on this card as well, which signifies the 8th house to me, which is scorpionic in nature, the deep, dark, still waters of creation and rebirth and transformation. Our deep psychology exists within the 8th house. So this is a time in which you may have epiphanies and insights about what's been holding you back, or maybe even what's holding other people back. You could have that psychic insight at this time. You just know. It's a knowingness, a claircognizance of the blocks, of the walls. Some people have been really putting all their energy into a false positivity. I want to say almost a false light, a false positivity, overemphasizing lightness and ignoring the existence of darkness. And this is a time in which people who have been operating in that manner might be a little bit shocked at what comes up, what comes through. But if you have been dovetailing your light work with your dark work, then this is a time where you will feel unexpectedly empowered, although it won't necessarily be an easy time. Okay, this is a time that requires stillness and reflection to put away distractions. There are so many distractions trying to distract us from the dark, like literally holding our phones in our hands with that light in our dark rooms takes us away from the mysteries that the dark holds. Actually, I want to read a little passage here that's in this book. This is the Oracle deck, Lucid Dreaming, Lucid Living, and it's by Lao Tzu in the Tao Te Ching. And here he says, mystery and reality emerge from the same source. This source is called darkness. Darkness born from darkness, the beginning of all understanding. Mystery and reality emerge from the same source. And this is a time for us to remember that what we create in our reality comes from our own imagination, comes from our own curiosity to figure out our mystery and the mysteries around us. And once we follow that curiosity and that creativity to explore the depths within and the depths without, we can manifest a reality that is reflective of our desired creative paths, what we desire to create in this lifetime. So let's go further in and see what else we get from Spirit. I was sitting here meditating on the winter solstice energy, and I got some messages here. I'm not really sure how they fit, but we'll see as the cards come out. The first thing I got was private eye, and it felt like this is more metaphorical, not like a private eye investigator, more of you having a private insight. It's like your eye, your third eye or your psychic eye. There's something very private, or you should keep private right now, about its development, about its ability. I'm here getting something about like ability to locate. It's like your private eye can locate something or can see something. Okay. And I also got this image of somebody like their mouth was covered. And this is a time of silence, right? And going in. And so it feels like there's some kind of download you have or revelation. And it's in its developmental stages. It's not fully formed. You still need to work on it a little bit, or it needs to be nurtured and nourished a little bit more, this download you have, or maybe there's more information coming. So there's something about keeping it private for now. Okay, and more will come through, or you'll understand more as you sit with the energy. Okay, so try to remember that idea of a private eye, a private psychic eye. Okay, only temporarily. You can share it soon, but it's just at this time, maybe in the next 3 weeks. Then I don't know why I drew this line, but it seemed to be related, and it went down to the word solidify. It feels like this insight you get, this download you receive, is going to solidify something for you. Something you've been like kind of going around with. You're like, I don't really know if I should do this, or if that's really what that means, or so on. And it's like this insight you have is going to just bring everything together, and it solidifies your mindset or your decision around something. It's really relieving. It will be a huge relief for you. But you have to allow the time for this download to properly trickle through. Yeah, it's like a ground. It's like the ground, yeah, trickling through the water table, underneath the ground, until it gets to a more solid state underneath. Okay, so this download you receive or information you receive, it's going to form some kind of foundation for you and solidify your next step. Then I heard it's a time to eat slowly. This could be literal, but also metaphorical in terms of what you're digesting. Really be conscious of it. Really think through, what am I listening to? What am I thinking? What am I reading? What am I taking into my mind, my heart, my soul, my body? And is this enough? Do I need more? Do I need less? Try to be aware of overconsumption as well, trying to fill a void, perhaps, with things that don't actually solidify as fulfillment. Rather, they're just temporary fixes. So any kind of overconsumption in any way, right? It could even be too many ideas at a time. Whatever it is, try to ask yourself, do I really need this at this time? Is this truly going to fulfill me? And maybe it will, and maybe you need a little more. So be kind with yourself and have that conversation. There is something about miscommunication at this time. It feels almost like Mercury retrograde energy, even though we're not there. It feels like there's cross wires, like people could be talking past one another. There's miscommunication, or there's things, crucial information that you feel somebody's holding back, or they feel you're holding back. Maybe you're going to get it through the download instead, right? Like Spirit's going to give you some other pathway to get the information you need. But it feels like in the next, I keep feeling like it's 3 weeks. In the next 3 weeks, there's going to be some forms of miscommunication. And it feels like you just have to kind of let that be. It's like an energy thing. It will clear up, but try not to get too frustrated with things, I think is the message. Then I got something with a time to eat slowly. I got hungry ghosts. If you feel like you are constantly trying to fill a void within you, it's like there's a hungry ghost around wanting something, wanting fulfillment, and it will keep bothering you. And its stomach will keep growling, telling you to feed it over and over if you don't ask it what it really wants. And it's interesting how it came through as ghost, because ghost is usually related to the past, but also another dimension, another realm. So perhaps you're connecting here with some energy from the past that is still playing out in another realm, okay, like quantumly. And you need to ask that part of you, like, what are you hungry for? What will satiate you right now? Okay, that's for some of you. For some of you, it's like you've been working with this feeling, and it is like this, like bottomless pit feeling. You get fulfillment, you feel cool, you feel chill, and then maybe a week later, a couple days later, it's like it feels like something's missing. And there's something here about needing to ask, like in a very literal way. Maybe you ask it out loud, or you write it down somewhere. You need to have like a literal conversation with yourself, or with whatever energy or entity you feel like is around you that's creating this lack of fulfillment. Okay, because I feel like you're trying to get things to ignore that feeling. That's for some of you, not all of you. Then I got no-thingness, like nothingness, but no-thingness. Now is a time where I feel like there is nothing in the external world that will fulfill you like what will fulfill you from the internal world, from your inner creativity, from your inner dream state, even from self-analysis, from imagination, from reading. Like, there's things inside that are going to bring you exactly the feeling you're searching for. Okay? I also got the image of basil. And from what I know, basil can symbolize healing, protection, immortality, and love. So maybe that's a message for you, or a very specific message for someone. Basil. If you know more about basil and its spiritual properties, share them. Let me know. I always love learning from you guys. And that's the messages I got here. So let's get into the cards and see what else wants to come through for you for the winter solstice. Ooh, well, the cards almost fell. And I'm hearing one thing at a time. Okay. The number 50 might be important for someone. Let's see. What are the energies supporting you at this time? The energies supporting you. Or maybe we should word that a different way, Spirit. Yeah, let's word that a different way. The energies that are coming up from the darkness for you to see or for you to feel. What are the energies that are coming up? The Hierophant, number 5, 50. Interesting. It says higher learning, education, traditions, spiritual guidance, counselor, faith, teaching or teacher, higher consciousness, learning through study or books. Knowledge is power. This is called the Serpent and the Peacock Tarot. Maybe those are animals you're working with. And let's see, so that's the energy coming up from the darkness. Let's see the energy that you should dive into the darkness to find. So one's coming to you and you're going to the other. Six of Swords. Transition, relocation, forward movement, moving away from difficulties or a bad situation, moving towards opportunities or success, calm after the storm, hardship has been overcome, and progress. I feel like progress is the key word here for you. It's like part of the sitting still in the darkness, part of the inner work is to recognize and realize that you've made such significant progress in whichever way that you wanted to make progress. Yes, you did. Don't tell yourself you didn't. You did absolutely make progress. And I feel like this is something that you might have to continue to remind yourself, okay? It's like I'm seeing a chart here. It's like there's ups and downs, but the downs are still ups from where you used to be. You know what I'm saying? So remember the progress you made. You might have to dig deep at this time to remember that. There are opportunities here for more success, for forward movement, but you have to dig deep to really remember that or recognize that or see that. Okay, so now is not the time where opportunities will feel like opportunities. Okay, so something might happen and you don't see it as an opportunity, or maybe you're waiting for something to happen and it's not happening. You have to go to that place within that tells you you have overcome a hardship before those things can materialize in your reality. And for the support, the Hierophant, well, I feel like this is your spiritual consciousness, your higher consciousness, learning through study. And I feel like this is what we're talking about with self-study. I am planning a huge self-study. Okay, and we're going to have a reading on this, but we're coming up to 2025, and if we add those numbers up, it equals a 9, which is the Hermit card, which is self-study. And I've been reading every book I have, I've read about the Hermit, the number 9. I've been really deep into that teaching right now, because I feel like we're coming into a time and a place where we're going to have to really see what we're made of. And not only see what we're made of, but lead with what we're made of. Okay? And so this could be the transition period into that time in which our inner knowledge really starts to feel important and powerful, and something that is required and needed in the world. Okay? So spiritual guidance is something that is coming to you at this time. So let's get in a little bit further, Spirit, and see what else wants to be said here. Tell me more about the Hierophant. Let's just get one. There's also teachings or ideas that are distractions that could pose as the Hierophant, okay? That could pose as wisdom. That could pose as something that you really need to know right now, but it's actually quite insignificant for you, or it's just not accurate. It is the same thing as the overconsumption. It fills you up for a second and then it's out the door, like it doesn't really hold with you. It doesn't solidify in your soul and your spirit. So be careful, or maybe it's not even be careful. It's just be aware, be mindful, notice when something holds gravity, or has gravity, I should say, and when something is just airy-fairy. Okay. So we have defiance and perspective. Talking to others and getting out of your bubble will help you see things differently with the Hierophant. Interesting. And then defiance in reverse. There's something coming towards you, a revelation, a download, a key piece of knowledge that you're not going to be able to shudder away. You're not going to be able to shuffle it off the board. You're not going to be able to deny it or even to defy it. It's going to be so profound to you and so mind altering, mind shifting, mind changing that your connection to spirit and source is something that if you were questioning, you won't question. Or it's something more tangible now to you. You can put it into words better, or you sit more comfortably with your relationship with Source, despite other people questioning you or judging you. This is a relationship that you're going to have with your higher self that you don't feel the need to explain to others. Okay? This is, I'm getting something about psychic warfare. This is also, my ear has pressure there on the left side. This is also a gift that you're being given access to discern what knowledge is truth, and what knowledge wants to be truth or thinks it's the truth. This is discernment on another level. It's discernment coming from your right brain, your creative space, your intuitive space, your knowingness, your claircognizance. It's not discernment from the left hemisphere where you're like, oh, well, you know, this makes sense and that's illogical and that's what the past taught me, so it must be this way. It's not that kind of dot connecting. I mean, that's still useful and you have that, don't get me wrong. But this kind of discernment is different. It's deeper. It's, you have some kind of authority here with the Hierophant, some spiritual authority. It's like you've gotten a degree here, metaphorically. And so when somebody's speaking about something that you're well versed in, which could be intuition, you can just know or sense that somebody else doesn't really know or has much further to go than even they perceive. And this will allow you to place energies where they need to be placed for you. And not to get distracted by things that aren't for you. Okay, let's see. The Six of Swords. Guardian. Progress. Your progress is protected, and pursuit. Six of Swords with pursuit. I feel like your discernment around knowledge is going to eventually manifest into, for many of you, a role in which you will be the gatekeeper. You will be a gatekeeper of wisdom and knowledge. And the way that some of you might be a gatekeeper is by teaching others and deciding what needs to be taught and what doesn't need to be taught, what information needs to be kept private eye, and what information should be shared and with who at what time. Some of you are going through your healing journey and you are healers, but you are going to guide or counsel others like you in the near future. Some of you need to take a little bit of a risk. You might be playing safe with something and going for something that feels safe, or doing the safest thing. The thing you know will work, the thing that's worked before, the thing you're good at. And you need to take a little bit of a risk here to try out another path, another avenue, use a different tool in the toolbox, see what that does. Tell me more about that. The World. A journey ends so another can begin. Success and achievement, achieving a goal. Starts over again with the Fool. Yeah, because you've mastered something here. And so you're at the world stage and oh, peacock again. And you need to go to the Fool. You need to take a risk. You need to start new again with a new tool, a new idea. Use a new skill. Six of Pentacles. Change for the better, it says on this card. Okay, so whatever you've mastered, it's time for the next challenge, so to speak. But it's not a challenge that's a hardship. It's a challenge that's a creative challenge, or a challenge in a relationship that's going to push you to the next so-called level, or where the growth wants to go in the relationship. So let's get the tarot out and see what else comes through. Let's see. What message do we have here for the winter solstice, Spirit? Six of Pentacles again. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. We have 5 major arcanas. Temperance, Death, the Devil, Wheel of Fortune, and Justice. A lot's happening here in the void. Oh, I'm just noticing this looks like the eye. A private eye. See the eye? Okay, so your energy is 6 of Pentacles. Well, it's pretty sunny over here. I wanted to say sunny in Philadelphia. Okay, it's pretty sunny over here, and we're going into the darkness. So tell me more about the 6 of Pentacles. Reversal. Yeah, it's like you need the reversal energy, the darkness. It's not always sunny, you know, in Philadelphia or wherever you are. It's a time to maybe hold your energy back a little bit. You've been giving and giving and giving. And now it's time for you to receive, and you begin receiving by giving back to yourself. And it's interesting how like my arms are like in a protective pose here. It's like, and like clutching something to you. Your energy has been open for a long time here. And while that is neither good nor bad, it depends on the context, right? Spirit is saying we have to go to the other polarity now. The lemniscat, you know, we need to go over into the winter solstice and kind of, it's not protect, but it's call the energy back to ourselves so that we can begin to create. The void is where all things are possible, but only if there's enough energy that exists there to make the creation. We need to nourish that void. Okay, so whatever you're giving to, try to give a little less. Okay? It will flip again. It will flip again where you have an outpouring of energy to offer others. But first you need to like rebuild your reserves or bring in new things, for new tools for you to work with, so that when you give to others later, you're giving more, you're giving different things, you're giving something you haven't gave before that is needed. So it's a time of spiritual replenishment here. We have temperance for what you don't see coming. This is that balance. Tell me more about temperance. The alchemist. And it's the alchemist card. The temperance is the alchemist. Okay, balancing the energy between those two beautiful cups, pouring one into the other. Maybe you're working with fire and water right now. This is what you don't see coming. The alchemy that you're doing. It's a kind of soft alchemy. Like, for example, I know that I've transmuted lots of energy in my life. And a lot of it was like gut-wrenching transmutation, like very hard. And I was definitely doing alchemy, but it was the kind of alchemy where it's like, you have to be persistent. You have to be dedicated. You have to make sure that you trial and error. You keep trying to heal. You keep trying this. You keep going in that part of the shadow. You keep, it's like there's a lot of labor involved. This kind of alchemy feels a little bit gentler. It's more feminine in nature. It's more receptive. Okay, so you might feel like I'm not really doing anything right now though, but you are. You're in the womb, you're in the matrix, you're in the void, the spiritual matrix, matrices. Okay? You are creating. But it won't feel like a big undertaking that maybe it used to feel like. And I think that's a plus, that's a positive. But that's where you have to dig deep for the Six of Swords and remind yourself, I am making progress, even if you don't see it. Maybe you're painting a masterpiece and one day you get up and all you do is pour the paint and you're like, I haven't done anything today. Well, you poured the paint, or you selected your colors, or you chose your paintbrush, or you set your easel up. Everything is progress. Every slow little step like that is progress. So you're going to have to remind yourself of that, because this alchemy that you're doing isn't done in these big shows of getting things done or working really hard. Some of you might be talking to a spiritual healer or a therapist. You feel like you're not making progress. You are. There's something here where something is moving, but it's hard to see, okay? So that's what you don't see coming, is the alchemy that you seek, the transmutation of energy that you are working towards is happening. It's just happening slower. Eat slowly, right? It's digesting slowly. It's not overloading your system. It's being gentle on your system. That's pretty powerful, I think. Death for your opportunity. What a beautiful death card. So this is the same energy as the world, kind of, here is how I'm feeling it. It's letting that mastery be a mastery. Hold on, what do I say there? Something has been refined enough times. It's like if you keep trying to refine it, or you keep trying to perfect it, it starts degrading in quality because it's already perfected. It's like you have something perfect, you did all the right things, and then now you're going to go back in and try to fix it just because there's maybe a fear, or you don't know what comes next. You're fearful to move on to the next thing, and this is why the risk is necessary. So there's a beautiful ending here, primed for transformation. So let's see. Primed for your transformation. Good fortune, abundance, and prosperity are flowing into your life now. Open your arms to receive. This is also the spiritual guidance that you're going to receive. The perspective, talking to others and getting out of your bubble will help you see things differently. I feel like there is something here to learn from the Hierophant energy. Something about spirituality, some esoteric knowledge, something about archetypes or symbolism or dream work or psychic abilities or tarot, or there's something like that it exists in the void, right? In our culture, exists in a void, all of this spiritual stuff that also takes into account your autonomy and your divine will, okay? There's something to learn here. On a real, literal level, there is going to be a final nail in the coffin ending. Like, that's it. It's over. And as soon as that happens, or maybe it's already happened, there's like something that comes in. It's like put down right in front of you. Like a serious ending and then a serious reward. Okay? And there's going to be no denying that the two are connected. I don't know what that is for all of you, but the advice here is to open your arms to receive it. It's a chain reaction, chain of events. Okay, one thing follows the next. You can't have this reward without this ending. Now, I don't know what that is, but it could be just be for some of you. Anything else I could say there? The moon. Yeah, there's something cloaked here in this message about that chain reaction of the ending and the good fortune. It's a little bit of a mystery. It's meant to be a mystery. You're going to have to face some fear to come to the ending. And the reason why the reward isn't really fully available for me to tell you or for you to see is because you're not meant to end something just for a reward. You're meant to end something because that's what feels right to do for you. That should be the reward as you see it right now. And then something different will happen. Something more tangible will happen. But you have to want the ending for the sake of the ending. Okay? The devil for the challenge. Well, darkness is cool and all with this void stuff and creativity, but darkness also can have monsters hiding in the shadow. There can be things that are scary in the darkness. Things that are scary about ourselves, or memories we have that are fearful, or other people out there in the world who are operating from their shadow without regard for anybody. And we may encounter some of those during this time, some of those energies, some of those people. And that could be quite the challenge. Going within is not running away. Okay, let me see. Tell me more about the devil. The energy is so different in this reading. You can probably tell. It's like a little bit Hierophant. It's a little bit more serious. Entanglement and the devil. Oh boy, look at the dual snakes here. It's interesting because I wore this ring which has dual snakes in it, and it's like from the Never-Ending Story. And so maybe there's a never-ending story that you're rereading, or it's just you're reading it and reading, and the chapters just keep going and going and going. There's no conclusion. And that could be a challenge for you right now, is to just close the book without waiting for a conclusion to be written. Death. I don't need to know what happens. I'm done with the book. I got all I need to get from it. Okay, that's for some of you. For others of you, this is the overconsumption. Okay, this could be anything you're consuming, but you're entangled with it as a way to fulfill some void that you feel or some emptiness. And how do you fill that void and that emptiness? You go within. That sounds so trite. Hold on. You learn. You learn. That's how you fill the void. You learn something that you're interested in, whether it's about yourself or something spiritual or anything else. You learn. You spend your time exercising your mind. You get creative with your learning. That's how you fill the void. And learning here doesn't mean consuming information. It means engaging with it, questioning it, coming up with your own ideas around what you're learning, what you're reading, what you're listening to, challenging it and coming up with your own ideas. Some of you have a talent or a skill and you can learn more about that. Some of you are creating a business, you want to learn some more things, but it's like discernment here is necessary too. Don't take everything at face value. That will be part of the pleasure, is challenging it. That's how you come to your own creative solutions and answers. Wheel of Fortune for your advice. Well, there is definitely good fortune. We have that twice here on the table. To know that everything is cyclical here, the moon cycles, the seasons, okay, the passing of time. There are cycles, things come, things go, the wheel turns, and it will turn again. And I feel like the advice here is to not rush anything and not feel pressured to produce or perform or to be a certain way, but to allow yourself to ride the wheel that's already in motion and moving. The key. Maybe that's the key there. What else? The child. To be playful here. Whole heart. And the sleepwalker. What are your dreams about? The novice. See, there's something about learning something new here. Devote yourself to your endeavors without concern. Committing helps you grow. Yeah, so there's something here where it's like, try to release all the expectations on you around whatever it is that you want to do. Outside voices, what your family's going to say, what your friends will think, what your ego mind is telling you you need to achieve or need to do, or criticisms, or et cetera, what your partner's going to say. Try to release all of that distraction, all those distractions around you, so that you can invest with your whole heart into allowing the wheel to turn as you create, as you continue to make progress. Anxiety shuts down creativity. And when I say creativity, I'm not just talking about being an artist. I'm talking about creating anything in your life, your manifestations. So that fear space, that anxiety will shut down all of your manifestations. And so the key is here to protect yourself from that. Okay, the outcome in the next 3 weeks, I'm going to say, is justice. There's the beautiful balance of dark and light. Tell me more about justice. So, this looks like the leaf I drew here too. Something about Capricorn energy could be significant. The basil, maybe you should look at the basil some more. Basil. Also looks like the World card here to me too. You know, I think that you've been stuck at the level of mastery. In something. And I feel like this new energy that's coming in for you is exactly the momentum you need and the balance you need. The healer and power. Didn't I say that? You are going to heal others. But in order to do that, of course, first you have to go through your own healing journey. Basil is healing. Tell me more about this, Spirit. Next 3 months, the healer, power, justice. Well, you're taking back your power. 7 of Cups. Should you follow your head or your heart? Choices. Use your imagination. Lots of options. And then it says escaping from the real world. Maybe you are going to discern and learn the difference between escapism and spirituality. Can be a place where people escape, they dissociate, they enter a realm that is completely ungrounded and disconnected from their daily life, and that doesn't serve them. Okay, there could be spiritual psychosis. I mean, there is. A lot of people experience that. Sometimes you come out the other end and sometimes you don't, right? So perhaps you're discerning the difference between that and creating your own reality. The difference between escaping from the real world and creating the real world. Yeah, I think that's what's going on. All right, that's what I have for you. I hope this reading was helpful. I love you so much. I'll see you next time.